I haven't made a video in 2 months. What am I even gonna make a video about? Glad to see we didn't leave the anxiety in 2025. I think I have an idea. I love stationery. Now, if you're new to this channel, that's something I preach constantly. If you've been watching this channel for a minute, I'm just yelling the same thing I've been yelling for a while now. Having said that, I am now sort of falling into that trap that a lot of us online making things seem to be falling into, which is we're falling sort of out of making and into more of the collecting-ish sort of and I'm guilty of it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's you, not me. It's my fault here. But I wanted to make it a point this year to be a little more self-sufficient as an artist, where if I need something, I see if I can make it out of the random collections of stuff that I have around my house. And now, I just mentioned a second ago how I haven't made a video long form in months. It's been a while, sorry. The last video I made here was kinda heavy. Not a lot of people watched it, please go check it out. But in the video, I was making a little notebook, so I thought, why not just show you guys how to do that yourselves? And now, before we get too far into this, there is a furnace over there. It is January. I live in New England. It's 14 outside right now, so that's probably gonna go off. Audio in these videos are always weird when I use my little mic. Sorry, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Having said that, let's go make a notebook. Yeah, that wasn't worth that. Oh, fuck. In terms of stuff you're gonna need to do this, if you're like a crafter, you probably have most of this stuff on hand. If you're not, I'm gonna show you what I use, and I've spent a little bit of money on this. I've put maybe $35, $40, maybe $50 into this hobby so far. Aside from paper, I'm talking like equipment. So most of the stuff on here, I was able to find on Amazon. I'll have links to everything down in the description below. So if you want to pick up any of this stuff, feel free. I don't get a kickback. I don't care. If you want to get into this hobby, that's what I care about. I care about you making cool stuff that you love. So first up, we have the X-Acto knife set. I think this was maybe like 15 bucks. It's a 16-piece set. It's got one in here that's like super comfortable. They're not all just metal and terrible. Decent pickup. I would advise you just be smart and don't be like me. Get a paper guillotine. Get one of the old school cool ones like in middle school. Those like, wow, the like big ream cutters. Or just, you know, again, get like a normal priced one and get a normal size one like a normal person. I just do the hand cutting because, I don't know, I just wanted to get into it at the lowest like possible rung, and hand cutting paper is the lowest possible rung. But next up is my little stapler. Again, there are better versions of all of the stuff that I have. This is the bare minimum, maybe one step above the bare minimum required to get into a hobby like making books. Because usually when you watch a video on it, these people have these long staplers, and those are great. Those are really expensive. This is not really, look at this. Does this look expensive? And all you need to do essentially with this is more or less one extra step, and you save yourself a bunch of money by just getting a tiny stapler. Just go with the tiny stapler. Especially if you're new to this hobby, just tiny stapler, gang. The next piece I was going to say is optional, but having done this with the plastic ones, get yourself a metal ruler, preferably like a corked back metal ruler so it doesn't slide around a bunch. I started with a plastic ruler and I ended up shaving off like corners of the ruler. So then I was getting these jagged, wonky cuts. Like, great, you can get a 3-pack at the dollar. Just spend a few bucks on the metal ruler. This next piece is another thing that, don't go cheap. Get the bigger one. It's a cutting board mat. Cutting board. It's a cutting board. I had the small one from the dollar store. It's not big enough to cut sheets of paper on. This is just big enough. I would love to get an even bigger one of these. This is just what I had in the budget at the time. These next two kind of work together. It's a mechanical pencil and a highlighter. Now, the mechanical pencil is for marking measurements. The highlighter, it's just this little blunt end tip here. I use this to push down the staples on the binding. That is, and then I kind of use this as like a folder as well. It's got this nice rounded edge so you can kind of push down and get the paper nice and flat, which means it's entirely optional. If you have another marker at home with a weird tip like that, get after it. And then lastly, a very optional piece, but it's one of those like make the experience a little bit better when you're finished with it type tool, is an edge rounder. It's literally what it looks like. It'll just take the really sharp edges of a piece of paper, round them into nice soft corners, so when you put it in your pocket, your notebook doesn't get torn to shreds. And then lastly, before we get into it, is the types of paper I'm using. I have like a creamy 80 GSM type of sketch paper that I like. And then this is just cardstock. That's it. So I guess we can start setting up now. So this is the size notebook that we're gonna try to mimic here, this 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So one thing I forgot the first time I tried to do this is you need to double up the length when you measure it, or else you're just gonna wind up with a couple sheets of paper this size. So let's get measuring the paper and then we'll start cutting out some stuff. Something I forgot to mention in the stuff to have possibly on hand is a few of these clips. You can find them at basically any stationery store. Got them. And once you have the paper all clipped, what you want to do is we are now going to start measuring out for the notebook size. All right, so to mimic the size that we're looking for, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn the sheet sideways, and then from the side edge, we're going to go in 4 1/2 inches. That isn't necessarily long. The lead of the pencil, not 4 1/2 inches, which is also insanely long. I'd say above average, if anything. So now that you have these lines, this move's completely optional. You can measure inside of here and get the required 7 inches that you would need for the paper to get that. But what I'm gonna do firstly is I'm just gonna make a line here, and I'm actually just gonna split the paper in half already. This is that one with the decent handle I was talking about. So listen, when you're hand cutting paper, there's a couple things to know about it. 1, it kind of sucks. 2, it's very rewarding. And 4, you need to be patient, because I remember when I was first doing this, I was ravaging the paper. And now, if you just take these long, soft, well, not soft, you gotta push down pretty good, but before I was like wrecking blades and stuff, and I was like, why am I not cutting 15 sheets of paper in one shot? And also, you're probably wondering, man, why is your sketchbook so skinny? You know what? Because finishing them feels really nice. So now that we're split in half, what we need to do is we're gonna need to measure 6 1/2 inches this way, so that when we fold it, we'll get the desired 3 1/4. So again, once you have your sheet of paper like this, we're gonna go 6 1/2 inches and mark again. 6 1/2 being way above average, almost, you know, like too big, if anything. And so now we can make the line that we're needing to cut at here. This is another reason that, well, this is the main reason you get the cork-backed ruler. I remember when I was first doing this with the plastic ones, it was essentially like cut, and that will mess up the entire project. Paper can't be uncut. All right, so just like that, here's what we're trying to mimic. Here's what we currently have. We should be able to wrap this all the way around, which it looks a little wonky right now, but when folded, will mimic the exact same size of this. So now I gotta find the halfway mark, and we're actually gonna staple this. So as we know, this is a 6 1/2 inch notebook, so we are now going back to the 3 1/4. We're just gonna make a few notches there so we can make the mark for the binding line. So once you have your lines, well, your marks anyway, don't overthink this as well. Please don't. Just make your marks. Looks about halfway to me. Now what you want to do is you want to grab your stapler and find something to staple on. This is not a great surface for me to staple on. I'll be right back. Well, I used to wear this hat all the time, but it has been officially relegated to just the staple thing. So I'm going to use 3 staples to secure this. With this stapler, it's a little weird because you have to go a little bit over the line to get the staple on it. But once you've kind of got your stapler figured out, it's incredibly easy to do it accurately. I know it looks like it's easy for me, and it is, because I've done this 100 bajillion gajillion times. So now that we have it stapled, thank you hat, now we've got a pointy boy. Ouchie. So what you're gonna wanna do, at least in my case, is I'm gonna grab my highlighter now, and we're just going to bend down the staples. Okay. Also, take this time. I wasn't doing it when I first started making these, but you can erase the binding line. Obviously, it looks a little less crappy once you've erased it. All right, and now you're also going to want to keep these clips because once you make something like this, you have to kind of keep it shut for a while for the paper to set. But now what you want to do, it's the moment of truth. Fold this down. All right. And booyah, just like that, got yourself a little pocket notebook. But that's where this guy comes into place. I usually do the R4 on these, which is going to be the move. Usually I can fit about, well, with the cardstock it's a little different, but if you see, slide this onto here and then got a nice rounded corner. So just do that to all the pages in the book. But I think this year I want to make it a point to just really get over that first page and just do something easy, you know, just something quick and dumb where I don't even need to really think about it at the end of it. It just sort of happens, and then all of a sudden I wind up with the first page of my new sketchbook already all finished, and it's just got a little goofy guy. And there you go. And just like that, you've got yourself your own little pocket sketchbook. So there you have it. It is that simple. And now, fun little thing I like to do with these, especially these little guys, just give myself a little topic. You bastard. Give myself a little topic and just hammer through one of these in a weekend. It's about, what? It's 12 sheets of paper. It's 12 sketches. That's nothing. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I do want to plug my Patreon. I think this year, this is the first video of 2026. I really want to push the Patreon this year. Literally, the entire Patreon is basically just me giving everybody free stuff. Like, yes, you give me money, but like you get so much stuff in return. I'm just giving away handmade pocket sketchbooks. I'm giving away stickers and art and all sorts of stuff. I'm streaming like crazy. So please, head over to the Patreon. Link is in the description. Link for everything that I use to make this pocket sketchbook will also be down in the description as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic year full of creativity and cool stuff, and